Hi, this is Patrick, one of the owners of the Lost and Found. If you're watching this video, it probably means you're interested in volunteering, and for that I want to say thank you for joining the team. This video is to explain what that team really is. To do that, to tell you the story, we have to travel about 20 kilometers up this road, where there's a massive hydroelectric dam. The hydro company wrote a law that was passed by the Panamanian General Assembly to create the reserve that we're in. It's the classic case where a big multinational corporation gives a massive loan to the developing nation. A lot of times that money is used to build the project itself. But the government, in this case Panama, is beholden to the company. So our water, all water inside this reserve, is owned by a multinational corporation. The corporation usually sends economists to exaggerate the economic benefits to win the favor of the local community. In this case, they gave them brown signs like these ones with yellow print. These signs with the same font are used in every national park in Panama. National parks are created to protect the environment and encourage tourism. People in the community expected the same. So locals built restaurants and coffee shops, and they did well until the workers that built the dam left. So this was the situation that Andrew and I walked in on when we came to the Fortuna Forest Reserve. We did some things right. We got a lawyer, and we bought titled land inside the reserve. That was the end of the smart things we did, and the beginning of the dumb things we did. We didn't know that there was a sheriff in town, and we didn't know that that sheriff was a multinational corporation. We hired a builder, and our builder was responsible for getting all the permits. He hired an environmental engineer and submitted an environmental impact assessment to essentially what is the Ministry of the Environment. In Panama, it's called a NAM. Our builder knew the local director, and it was all smiles and handshakes when we visited him. He told us to build, and we did. Weeks of hard work hauled up everything you see at the Lost and Found. That's why every brick is twice as expensive once it's up here. We have to pay for the gas, and we have to pay for the label to haul it up the hill. And once we're all built, one of our first guests was an environmental engineer from the government who shut us down. We were shut down. The local director of a NAM that encouraged us to build was fired, and we had to pay a fine. At this time, I moved to Panama City to find a job to keep the project afloat. Andrew opened the hostel illegally, with no marketing, to anyone passing by. That's when one day on the side of the road, Andrew met this man with a bunch of colorful liquids. The man was Don Cune, and he called the liquids wine, although it might be better as salad dressing. But anyways, Andrew went down to his farm, and he saw that there were more things to drink, like sugarcane juice, and especially world-class coffee. Slowly, Andrew began to take guests down to visit the farm, and they loved it. Don Cune needed it. His coffee plants were suffering from coffee rust, and he vowed to never use chemical. So his coffee yields every season were dropping. Our guests came just in time for him. Don Cune scared the bejesus out of us one day when an organization called Pronat came to town. They came to hold a meeting about the process of titling property, a process that the previous owners of the Lost and Found went through before the creation of the Fortuna Forest Reserve. Local residents wanted to hear about how they could title their own land. Instead, at the meeting, they were told that they would never get title. They were squatters on land administered by the hydro dam. Don Cune stood up at that meeting and said, "Well, if we can never get title to our own land, stop harassing the Lost and Found. They bring the tourists that the dam promised to bring." We were scared that everyone knew that we were open illegally. But then the local mayor began to support us. Then the Ministry of Tourism. One by one, members of the community stood up and supported us. It took a good solid 2 years of fighting, but eventually our second, much more expensive environmental impact assessment was passed by a NAM. The team you're joining, although you don't know it, is Don Cune, the organic farmer from the community that people called crazy for starting an organic farm. The team is our volunteers and our guests that drink his fair trade organic coffee and take his tours so that he can keep his farm and employ even more locals. The team is Gabby, the organic farmer's daughter, that can now collect Social Security and take tourism classes on her day off. The team is Jonah and Fernando, also full-time employees, learning English and computer skills to help manage our part-time staff. The team is the taxi drivers that take our guests on tours. The team is the village of Lamina, from the family that hauls our cans to the recyclers, to the locals that sell us vegetables. You are joining this team. Thank you. And together with everyone, we can raise our middle finger and flip the bird at the multinational corporation 20 kilometers up the highway.